Namaste, viewers. Welcome to Gnana Degula channel. Today, in this episode, we will go through the story of one of a great sage. He was called Rishyasringa, a sage who was born with horns on his head. We will go through this story. It's quite an interesting story. I request you to please like, share and then subscribe to my channel. Now the story goes like this. Once upon a time, there lived a great sage named Vibhandaka. He was the son of Sage Kashyapa. One day, this great sage Vibhandaka, he was moving near a beautiful lake, a very serene atmosphere, and then a beautiful lake called Mahahrada. There Vibhandaka accidentally saw Urvashi, a heavenly maiden who was just passing there. She was very beautiful. She was a most enchanting apsara, and he was moved by her beauty, and overcome by her beauty, Vibhandaka, he was not able to control himself. He accidentally released his seed, which fell into the water in that lake. At the same time, a doe, it was actually a doe, an apsara in the form of a doe. Actually, a cursed apsara drank from that water. She drank water, and actually she drank the seed also. So by the sage Vibhandaka's miraculous powers, she becomes pregnant. Then the doe, later it gives birth to a boy, and the boy was born with some small horns on his head, some kind of small horns on his head. Because of his horns, he was named as Rishyasringa. Shringa means small horns like this, Rishya, that means horned sage. So now the boy is born, and then after giving birth, the doe was freed from her curse. The curse goes away and she returns to heaven. Now, this Vibhandaka, he understands that this boy is born to this doe, which was actually an apsara. He decides to raise his son, in a complete isolated place in his ashram, which is deep in the forest, where nobody will be there, completely secluded. He raises this boy to protect the boy and ensures that Rishyasringa would grow up pure, and he would focus only on spirituality. He teaches him all things necessary for a highly spiritual, so that he can become a spiritual master. In the process, Rishyasringa, this Vibhandaka, ensures that Rishyasringa never comes in contact with people. So here Rishyasringa never saw any woman also. He never saw any people also. He never knew even they existed also. So much of in exclusiveness he was born, and then he was brought up. He was taught very strict discipline. He was taught brahmacharya, celibacy, very strict celibacy, he followed that. As a result of his strict adherence to brahmacharya, strict adherence to tapas, strict adherence to all this meditation, chastity, devotion, Rishyasringa developed very great spiritual and magical powers. Whatever he wished would happen. Whatever he thought, and the place wherever he was would be fully like, Sasya Shamalam. Rains would fall regularly. There would be plenty, there would be abundance everywhere. Abundance would, wherever he went, there would be great abundance. So, at the same time, there was a kingdom called Anga. And far away from this forest, in this kingdom called Anga, there was one ruler known as Romapada. He was a great king, but his rule was also very good. But one day, Romapada offended a Brahmin. So as ill luck would have it, he offended a Brahmin. The Brahmin cursed the kingdom. He said, let this kingdom be spoiled. Let there be no rains. Let there be no let there be drought in this area. As a result, the rain did not fall there. Without rain, crops couldn't grow, and the people of Anga suffered from this terrible drought and terrible famine. So the king was very much worried. He wanted to ensure that all the people, all the inhabitants would be happy. So he started thinking a lot, and then he consulted a lot of advisors. He, all ministers, sages, all people from all wisdomful persons, he consults them and he finds a solution. These sages, these persons, these people with wisdom, they tells him that the only way to bring rain was to invite a sage who is of perfect chastity and purity into the kingdom, who was totally perfect and who was chaste man. Such a person's presence would please the gods and bring back the rains. The sages they also suggested bringing Rishyasringa, who was known for his great austerity, great purity, and then great penance. But there was one problem. Rishyasringa's father, Vibhandaka, he was very strict and would never allow his son to leave the forest. He was put there so that he would never go out. So the king had to come up with some kind of a plan, some kind of how to bring this Rishyasringa. Now, Rishyasringa would be tempted. King Romapada decided to send a group of beautiful women to the forest to lure Rishyasringa to his kingdom. He thought that when some beautiful women go there and then when he would be attracted, Rishyasringa would be attracted and they would come back. And they could bring Rishyasringa to his kingdom. So these women also, they dress like ascetics, they dress like sannyasins and arrive at the ashram where Vibhandaka was, where Rishyasringa was staying. But they come at a moment when Vibhandaka was not there. He had gone out for some other place for some work. So these people come and then meet Rishyasringa. So Rishyasringa saw the women. He was amazed. He had never seen anyone like them before. The women also told him that they were also hermits, they were also sannyasins, just like him, and they invited him to join them in their rituals. Rishyasringa, very innocent, without any, he was curious, with with lot of innocence. He believed them and then took part in their with them. So they were together for some time. The women offered him lot of food, lot of sweet drinks, lot of so many things, All these things he had never tasted before. So Rishyasringa started liking them. He started eating whatever they offered. He also started singing with them, dancing with all these women, which made him feel something different, something strange, but it made him happy. So when they were trying to leave, Rishyasringa felt lonely. He felt lonely and couldn't stop thinking about them. He always thought about them. So the next day also the women returned. This time they somehow managed to convince Rishyasringa to come with them to their hermitage. They said, you please come to our hermitage. You see there you can do a lot of tapas, all those things, They just lured him. And they took him to the kingdom of Anga. So when Rishyasringa, as soon as he stepped into the kingdom, the skies darkened with clouds, thunder rolled, and very heavy rains began to pour down. The drought ended and the kingdom was saved from great drought. Now, King Romapada, who had sent his daughter, who had sent all these women to lure Rishyasringa and then bring him, he was overjoyed. He welcomed Rishyasringa with great honor. He also introduced him to his daughter. He had an adopted daughter, Shanta, by name Shanta. Shanta was also a very kind, beautiful and gentle girl. Soon, Shanta and then Rishyasringa, they fell in love and got married. Rishyasringa stayed in the kingdom where he continued to perform great deeds with his spiritual powers. Later, he played an important role in Ramayana also. He was the chief priest who conducted the yajna, the sacred fire ritual for King Dasharatha of Ayodhya. This yajna was performed to bless the king with children, Putrakameshti Yaga. It's called as, because the king Dasharatha had no children. This yajna which was performed blessed the king Dasharatha with children, and soon after Lord Rama, his brothers Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrughna were born. So now, the story of Rishyasringa teaches us about the power of purity, power of innocence and power of devotion. Of course, it also shows how even the most disciplined, most strict people can be tempted when they encounter something new. Most importantly, it highlights how spiritual strength can be used to help others and bring happiness to the world. Viewers, with this story, we conclude this episode of this story. I hope the story was quite interesting and then quite informative. With this, we thank you for your valuable time, giving your valuable time in listening to this story. I once again request you to please like, share, and then subscribe to my channel. Thank you, viewers.